Hi, I'm Beto Guajardo, President and CEO of Blaze Pizza, and you'll see me live with Sachin on the Ochakde show. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Ochakde Show. We're Silicon Valley's first business and self-improvement podcast for teens, hosted by a teen. My name is Sachin Syal. I'm a 17-year-old award-winning entrepreneur and podcaster from the Bay Area. I interview remarkable and influential entrepreneurs, executives, and investors from all walks of life so we can learn from their stories and level up ourselves. I'm also the co-founder and CEO of 3doshas.com. Started a coaching company based on yoga and Ayurveda. We have many paid coaching clients. We do life coaching and executive coaching so you can level up and become a VP, SVP, a CXO, or you just want to do good in school and you want to get life coaching, improve your mental health, be more healthy, all sorts of those beautiful and good stuff. The purpose of the show is to inspire you to go for it, which is what the Punjabi word ochakde means. It means go for it. Today our very special guest is, I want him to say his full name, then I'll say a shortened version. What is your full name, Beto?
My full name is Adalberto Benito Guajardo.
Awesome.
Beto is just fine.
Beto, President and CEO of the revolutionary pizza company Blaze. What do you think is my favorite topping, man, on Blaze? Just take a guess.
Your favorite topping?
Yeah, it's a fruit.
Oh, pineapple? Nice.
This is going to be on for the duration of the interview. He's also an ex-senior vice president of global strategy at Starbucks Corporation and an ex-global vice president of strategy at Levis Strauss and Co. He went to UIUC for business administration and did his MBA in strategy and finance from the Northwestern Kellogg School of Management. Welcome to the Ochakde Show. What is your favorite thing to order from Blaze? What is your favorite thing to order from Starbucks?
Yeah, great question. Let's start with my favorite thing to order from Starbucks. I am a triple shot grande latte with whole milk steamed to 148 degrees with 4 shots of hazelnut syrup.
Man, dude, you're precise.
Nice. 148 degrees is perfect because you can start drinking it wet right away. You don't have to let it cool down, right? A little unknown fact by many folks, because the wands in the espresso machines that they use at Starbucks are actually temperature controlled, you can ask for your milk to be steamed to any temperature you want. So keep that in mind. At Blaze Pizza, I'm a traditionalist. I love our original crust.
Okay.
I love spicy sauce. I like it a little spicy,
Same here.
sauce. I like it with mozzarella and Parmesan cheese. And then I'm a little bit of a carnivore, so give me some sausage, some pepperoni, and then I like to put artichokes and sun-dried tomatoes, and then a little bit of balsamic drizzle at the end.
How did you become the CEO after Starbucks?
Yeah, thanks. I'll tell you something. Early in my career, I started coming out of the University of Illinois, as you'd mentioned, and I don't know. Actually, if you don't mind, I'm going to go back even a step before that.
Please do.
So obviously with the name Beto Guajardo, my father came to this country from Mexico when he was 15 years old back in the late 1950s. He was the oldest son in his family, and so he had to come and work and send money home. He lived with his aunt in Texas, and he worked basically as a migrant farm worker in the fields of Texas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. My mom is second generation Scottish. Her grandparents came over from near Glasgow in Scotland and moved to central Illinois, where her grandfather worked in a coal mine. And my mom and dad would meet in this little town called Plano, Illinois in the early 1960s. Neither one of them had had the opportunity to even get past 8th grade.
Oh my goodness, wow.
Education was everything for them.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, even by the time I went to college, my parents didn't even know what I was getting into because they'd never had those experiences themselves. And I just said to myself from the time I can remember, my favorite thing in the world to do is to lead and build teams. People who know me and I'll say this, I love people. And I love being able to get a group of folks together who are inspired to work together and create something that's great, that they can be proud of and that they can have memories. And so I always knew I wanted to be a CEO, and really started working my career towards that. Found myself, after my graduate studies at Northwestern, in consulting, working for both Deloitte and McKinsey. And I kind of made a name for myself, helping companies transform.
Awesome.
And then I became a corporate strategist for companies like Avon and Levi's and Starbucks, and that was great. And I was a great number two, and I loved it. And I built these great strategy teams. We got to a point with Starbucks where the CEO, Kevin Johnson, came to me one day and said, "Hey, you really need to go be a CEO somewhere. I mean, that is your calling." And I'll be honest with you, I was 52 years old, and I was thinking to myself, well, maybe it's not going to happen for me, right? Maybe that's not where my career is going to go. But inspired by him, I ended up over at a company called Focus Brands as the president of a deli called Schlotsky's, which is primarily in the South and the Southwest, about 370 stores. And then the pandemic hit, and they asked me if I would become the president of the international division, where we had 8 different brands, including Cinnabon and Auntie Anne's, Seattle's Best Coffee, Carvel, Schlotsky's, McAllister's, etc. 2,000 stores in about 52 different countries. And that was going great. And then I got the call asking if I'd be interested in actually running the entire company of Blaze Pizza. And it was, I mean, I knew Blaze. It's one of those moments. And again, I had a chance in my life to work for some really great brands, right? Like the Starbucks and the Levi's and Avons and others. And when that call came in, I was like, I can't believe it, right? Me running Blaze Pizza. And now here we are, a year and a half later, and it's been quite a journey.
We go to the one in Pacific Commons in Fremont, California, which is always packed. I was gonna ask you, what is it about Blaze? Like, what is the competitive advantage over other pizza stores like Mod or Pizza Hut or Caesars? Like, why does it just annihilate those and just do so well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's an interesting phenomenon when you can create an aura behind a brand. And
Yes.
I think that for those who are familiar with Blaze, they'll understand what I'm saying. But for those who might be less familiar with it, when you think about Starbucks, when Starbucks was at its height and mojo, people wanted you to know that they were treating themselves well, not by having just any cup of coffee, but by having a Starbucks cup of coffee.
Spot
And
on.
we knew that consumers would walk down the street and they would we would even teach our baristas, put the lid on in such a way so that when the cup is raised to a person drinking it, the Starbucks logo is facing on the outside.
That's some good marketing right there.
Great. Now, you ask, well, how do you get that mojo? What is it that happens for a brand and in a brand that elevates it to really being that something special that Blaze Pizza is and our competitors are not?
Yeah.
And it really comes down to that word, hospitality. What does it mean to deliver great hospitality? It means that I care about who you are as a person. And in the moment that we're together on this journey, even if it's just to serve you a great pizza today, I want to take some time to connect with you as an individual. Similar to what you might see at a Starbucks, you'll notice that Blaze Pizza, right, assembles the pizza facing you as opposed to someone who's standing on the back line. We walk you through the process, and when we do it well, you should have contact, human contact, with anywhere from 4 to 7 people in that store who are calling you by name, right? And asking, what can they do to make this a great experience for you? Because you will remember that it was a great pizza, but you'll never forget how the people in that store made you feel and that it was a great experience. The oven is very special.
Oh, yes. It's a great part of Blaze. Yeah.
So let me give you a little secret on it. If you walk into a Blaze and you're looking at the oven and you see the flames, back there heating up.
I always see it. Yeah.
Yep. Right below there, you'll see 2 numbers. One's in green and one's in red. and they represent how hot the oven is and the temperature that it is and the temperature that it's set to. And it's usually going to reach somewhere between 530 to about 565 degrees. Okay. But the way that oven is built, it's dome shaped. And so as the heat is coming off the platform and from the flames, it is concentrating at the top of that dome. And when it gets hot enough, that heat begins to flow down. And so that pizza is actually baking at over 800 degrees.
Oh, wow.
And so one of the things that makes a pizza great is that it's actually being fast fired from the top to the bottom, not from the bottom to the top. So that platform may only be 500 degrees, but that top of the pizza is being cooked at 800 degrees. We like to say no one ever burnt a pizza because the oven was too hot. You actually burn the pizza because the oven isn't hot enough and you leave it unchecked too long.
And like, it's been dream job is to be an entrepreneur, podcaster, media guy, but like those guys that have that long thing and they're moving the pizza, like, love that job, man. I'd love to do that one day.
Pizza Smith, they are the most important. I mean, everyone's important in the store, but they in particular, they have a job that's almost artisanal, right? We don't have timers, right? It's not like going into an Arby's where you pour some frozen fries into some grease pit and you know that the butter's going to go off in 2.5 minutes. The Pizza Smith actually has to have the experience and the skill to know how to rotate the pizzas around the oven because various parts of that oven are at different temperatures. And when they get it right, you know the perfection that you're handed.
Exactly.
And I'm going to get very specific because I think that's what your audience needs to understand what makes it that unique. And again, we started talking a little bit about the crust, right? Where every single day it is made fresh and it is then baked. So it's not coming from a factory, right? It's being produced right there in the store, minimal number of ingredients. It is the way old-fashioned bread was made, right? As a matter of fact, I'm telling you, we got some really exciting products that are going to be coming out where we're actually taking that dough and we're reformatting, not formulating, reformatting it so that it bakes in a very different type of texture. And give me about another 6 months and you're going to see these products hitting the store.
Can you leak it now or no?
I know, I can't tell you the whole thing, but you're going to love it.
Can I be the first to know?
You're the first time I've said it to anybody.
Oh, media? Okay. This is the first media you've told?
First media I've told that we've got a new line of products coming out.
Does LeBron know? Does LeBron know about it?
What's that?
Does LeBron know about this idea?
Not yet, even. Not yet.
I know. Thank you, Beto. I appreciate it.
Or LeBron, exactly. But let me talk to you about our tomato sauce.
Sure.
So our tomatoes are all grown in California, in the Central Valley. And the reason why they're grown there is because the climate where these tomatoes are grown are most like the climate that you would find in a Mediterranean environment. These tomatoes, when they are picked, they go from the field into a can within 4 hours.
Wow.
Now imagine that, right? Imagine you got, as far as the eye can see, you got trucks and trucks and trucks and trucks that are being loaded up with tomatoes that are being harvested in the field.
That's awesome.
Rushed to the factory, being tested for their quality, their acidity, and then being mixed to create the perfect sauce. And they get preserved and canned in the most natural way within 4 hours of being picked. It is hands down the best pizza sauce that you are going to find anywhere in the country. I went to the farm. I went to the factory, right? I mean, I took the tour myself and spent time with the workers and watched how it was actually done.
Yeah.
It's really something to be proud of. And then when you get to the ingredients, right? Whether it's any of our proteins or any of our vegetables, or for that matter, even some of our fruits, right? That you can put on a pizza. We source them in such a way, we source them so that they do not have those preservatives in them that you might find at other places. Consequently, in our stores, that means we have to turn our inventory over faster, right? Because we can't hold on to the products as long as, say, someone who is getting them somewhere else. I'm going to give you an example.
Sure.
If you walk into a fast food restaurant,
Mm-hmm.
or say even a coffee shop.
Okay.
Many of these places use what's called a frozen platform. What that means is the food that you're going to eat was made in its entirety in a factory somewhere and then flash frozen. And it could be sitting in a freezer for 3 months, 6 months
A year?
before it's delivered frozen to the store. And then when it arrives to the store, it gets pulled out of a freezer and it's called slacking. What that means is they let it thaw for several hours or overnight. And then when you order it, they pull it out of a package, they unwrap it, they stick it into a turbo chef, and they heat it up. That is the furthest thing from fresh.
Yeah, that's really bad.
It's the furthest thing from fresh. You come to Blaze Pizza, and it is made for you on the spot, at the moment, fast-fired, 180 seconds in the oven, and you get the freshest pizza that you'll get anywhere.
As we wrap up here, Beto, let me ask you, customer retention rate, how is Blaze so phenomenally good at that?
You know, I think when I talk to the guests who love us the most, it's really an interesting conversation to sit down with the people who frequent your business the most often, right? I mean, I have been in stores where I have people come up to me and be like, I come to Blaze at least 3 times a week. Yeah. And I said, well, what is it that you love so much about this brand? The first thing they go to is, I love the pizza. They always talk about the product, and they talk about it. I had a woman come up to me and said, she literally, I'm not kidding you. She said, when I started eating Blaze Pizza 3 times a week, I lost 85 pounds.
Seriously?
Yeah. Now, you know, we're not going to put that into any of our written materials.
Okay, sure.
Get that kind of feedback of people who are really, really, we're meeting a need, right, for really healthy, flavorful food. And whether you're gluten-free, you want it on a keto crust, or you want it on a cauliflower crust, we've got all those options for you, right? But what ends up happening when you talk to the people who love you the most, they will come back to something that I mentioned earlier, right? I love the pizza, but the people in your store are why I come back over and over again.
100%.
Before I even get up to place my order, they're already starting to make my favorite pizza because they know what I love. You know, I know this sounds crazy, but it was actually something that I learned at Starbucks. And we would call it hire for a smile, right?
Hire for a smile?
Hire for a smile, right? Because you can't train that. You either have the will, the skill and the will, right? So 2 things, skill and will, right? You're going to be successful in life. You develop your skills, and then you want to use them to be successful, and that's the will part. The skill aspect of being able to have a wonderfully invitive smile to make people feel welcome. It's hard to teach. And when you meet someone who has it, you know it, right? So hire for the smile, and then make sure that you are treating your employees, right, and meeting their needs. One of the things I always like to say, Sachin, is I don't know how long we will be on this journey together. You come and work for Blaze Pizza, you come and work for me. You might be together for a year, we might be together for 5 years, who knows? How do we measure success? We measure success when we look back on the journey that we had together and we say, I'm a better person and I'm a better professional because I spent time working with you. And to me, that's the secret of Blaze.
Wow, you are a great speaker, Beto. And if I ever do like an advertising internship at Blaze, I'd love for you to help me with that, you know, send my resume in and stuff.
Got it.
Last 2 questions that I asked to all of my influential guests. First one is, what is your best advice for teens? You can think about it. Take your time.
Well, you know, so I have 4 daughters myself. Age 18 to 26. As a matter of fact, my 18-year-old daughter is coming out to LA to start her college career at Occidental.
Yeah, but your daughter's 26? I thought you were like 49, 50, man.
I appreciate that. Okay, right there. Best advice. Make people feel good about themselves. I love that. But, you know, for someone who's just starting their career or starting their college time, and I've said this to many, many people, and my daughters included, your grades are going to happen.
Yep.
You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. You've gotten to this point. You know how to focus on your relationships and focus on people, because 10, 15, 20 years after you're out of college, you're not going to be thinking about that class that you took. You're going to be thinking about the people who came into your life who make you a better person. Focus on relationships. That would be the most important thing, I would say.
I agree. That's why I love cold emailed you, right? I actually figured out your email before I connected with you on LinkedIn, and then I confirmed it was the right one.
I love that.
Last question of the day.
Yes, sir.
Well, one more after this, but what was your favorite part of being on Silicon Valley's first business and self-improvement podcast for teens, the Ochakde Show? What was your favorite part, man?
Well, first of all, I want to commend you for your will of wanting to make a difference by having the show and your other endeavors. I think that's incredible. Two, and never lose this, you're just a genuine person. You're just a genuine person. And I like to spend time with genuine people. So thank you.
Why do you feel that way? Is it just because like I ask funny questions, or like I'm just curious?
You're not putting on any airs. You're not trying to be someone who you're not. You're wearing a pineapple hat, for goodness sakes.
Hey, I mean, it is my favorite thing on the pizza, so.
It is your favorite topping.
Yeah. Oh my God. Dude, your daughter's way it's so mad at you for that dad joke.
So mad.
I highly recommend, guys, spicy red sauce and fresh mozzarella is a must. And then if you want to get healthy, arugula, which is really good for you and your health.
At the end, you put that on the pizza after it comes out of the oven.
The only thing I don't recommend is the bitter olives. Get black olives, not the other ones.
There you go.
Italian sausage, pepperoni, chicken's good. A fresh, spicy chorizo vegan. I mean, I have literally clicked on the app so many times, and I got 3 free pizzas from your team. I appreciate that, because we always get 3 pizzas.
Well, you have a safe journey to Yosemite, and please enjoy Blaze Pizza. And thank you so much for having me on your show.
Thank you, Beto. Out of these 4 out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which one would you choose?
Probably the carnivore, which is right over your left shoulder.
That looks so good, man. With what is that? Barbecue sauce. Okay, guys, that's the end of the interview. Please go to Blaze. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Beto, last words for my podcast to 13 to 18-year-olds watching from all over the world.
Be good to yourself and be good to one another.